Good morning, friends. Welcome to my channel. My name is Michelle. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by. And if you've been here for a while, welcome back. Today I want to talk about what happens after the farmer's market. So my last video or a couple videos ago, I took you through the prep work of getting ready for the farmer's market, and then I did some filming at the farmer's market. And so what do you do when you get to the end of the market and you have stuff left over? So that's what I want to talk about today. A lot of what I take is sourdough, okay? Sourdough does not have any preservatives and it does not last long sitting out on the counter. If there are loaves of bread left over, I will either give those to close friends, family. I'll even stick them in the refrigerator, and Scott and I will eat on those for the next week. The English muffins, if those are left over, I always make sure my kids get a package. My mom, if she's close by, in that video, she was here. And otherwise, I take them out of their farmer's market packaging and I throw them in a Ziploc and stick them in the freezer. They freeze really well, and Scott and I like to use those for making sandwiches. The banana bread, it can be frozen. What else? Let's see. The pumpkin bread can be frozen. Jams and jellies, those just, those have been canned and processed or preserved, so those can just hold over to the next week. But then you have the fresh produce. And so one week Kelsey brought a whole bunch of radishes, and she did sell some, but she had a lot left over, and so I believe she gave those to friends and family. She herself does not like to eat radishes, and neither do I. The last couple weeks I have taken fresh onions and fresh garlic. I have been really surprised at how few people have bought onions. I've got a few here to show you. So like this is one of the onions. I mean, look at that size. Now my hands are not gigantic, but look at that. That is a sweet yellow onion. And then I have some reds that are just as sweet. And so last week, 2 weeks ago, the onions I came home with, we ended up having a Father's Day dinner that weekend, and so I was able to just clean those, slice them all up, and then I caramelized those to have on top of our burgers. This week, I'm going to get these cleaned up. I'm going to slice some of them and chop some of them, and then I'm going to stick them in the freezer. We don't eat a lot of onions, although we do like onions. It's a food that some of us in our house have a little bit of sensitivity to, as far as the acid reflux. And so we use those in moderation. I will be using onions whenever I go to make spaghetti sauce or salsa, things like that. Bread and butter pickles, I put onions in. But I'm not ready for any of that. And these onions have not been through, these are a couple others, through the curing process. So they cannot be stored. Look here, this one is even starting to sprout. To go through the curing process, they have to be completely, all their greens have to be completely dried. Their roots have to be completely dried. And then they're ready for storage, and that can take a few weeks. I've been harvesting these fresh, straight from the garden, taking them to the market to sell. So I have to do something with them or they're not going to last. So I'm going to chop some, I'm going to slice some, and then I'm going to vacuum seal them to put them in the freezer. The garlic, few people have bought garlic, and I'm just going to hold it over till the next week. I think it'll be okay. It has not gone through the curing process either, which is the exact same process as the onions. But it's a little more shelf stable a little longer. So that will just hold over. If I notice that it's getting soft or trying to sprout, then I will do the same thing. I will either chop or, peel it, chop it, slice it, whatever, and then vacuum seal it and throw it in the freezer. Because again, I'll use that for pickles, dilly beans, salsa, spaghetti sauce, all of that gets onion and garlic. So I'm going to get myself ready to work up some onions, and then we'll see what happens next. Okay, I've got things ready. I've got cutting board, I've got knife. Here underneath where you are, I've got a baking sheet and a little dish. So as I chop the onions, I'm going to put them into here. As I slice them, I'm going to lay them out onto this baking sheet. So let me bring you down closer and you can see what I'm doing. I've got them in a bowl of super cold water, just trying to keep them kind of crisp and fresh. Okay, and I'm going to throw those peels and things back into the water. That'll kind of help it not bother my eyes, which I wear contacts, and so onions don't often bother my eyes. I guess my contacts provide a nice barrier. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and chop this one. And I could throw this in the food processor, but then I would have to wash the food processor. And I don't want to do that. And these don't need to be perfectly diced. I'm not looking to win any contests for my chopping skills. I just know sometimes I want chopped onions and sometimes I don't. And if they're already chopped and in the freezer, well, that helps me out later. Okay. Whew, I have a cut on my finger from being in the garden earlier. And the onion juice is burning. Okay, there's one onion done. And again, I'm just going to put them in this bowl and then I will measure it out later in 2 little packages. So, question for you. What is your favorite onion? Red, white, or yellow? And what is your favorite way to eat onions? Do you like them caramelized? Do you like them cooked? Onion rings? Raw? Get out these core pieces. How do you like your onions? Leave it in the comments. All right, these bigger onions I'm going to slice. I didn't cut that very straight. I was surprised in the last time I cut up one of these red onions. I expected it to be red all the way through, and it's not. This is my first time growing red onions, so I guess I just didn't know what to expect. Okay. I'm going to do nice big chunky slices. Have you ever been to Outback and had what they call Alice Springs chicken? That is my absolute favorite thing to have at that restaurant. And I have learned how to replicate that recipe. So in making that recipe, I like big slabs of onion because then I caramelize this big slab. And then I cook our chicken and I serve the chicken over the top of the caramelized onion. It's so good. This one's pretty good size too, so I'm gonna go ahead and slice this one. I think I have a video making that chicken. Here at our house, we call it Outback chicken. If I can find that video, I will attach it to this one, and you can check that out. Trying to decide if that is a bad spot. I think it might be, so I'm going to cut that off. Okay. All right, I'm going to keep chopping and slicing, and then I will bring you back. All right, I've got them all sliced and chopped. And now what I'm going to do is get them packaged. Now I am going to reuse my onion bags that I did this with last year. I'm just going to change the date. They do smell oniony, although they have been washed with soap and water and dried really well. I probably would not, this one had peppers. It smells fine. Really, the ones that had onions are the only ones that kind of held on to that smell. I would probably not put anything else in a bag that has already had onions. But since that's all it had, I'm going to reuse it and do that again. Something else I'm going to do, whew, they are burning my eyes. I'm going to package them. So let me show you real quick. I'm going to change the date real quick. 2026. And I'm going to put 2 big slabs in this bag, okay? Because I know if I make Outback chicken for Scott and I, 2 big slabs is all we need. If I'm fixing it for additional people, I'll pull out additional bags. I'm going to get these packaged, lay these on a baking sheet, and I'm going to stick this in the freezer before I vacuum, because my vacuum sealer works really well, but it does not work really well on things that are wet. And so if there's any moisture in the product being vacuum sealed, it kind of sucks out that moisture, which is fine, but then it doesn't make a good seal. So I'm going to get all these bagged up. Let me show you what I'm going to do with the chopped onions. I'm going to do the chopped onions in 1/2 cup increments. All right, so this is onions. Let me change the date. 26. I'm going to grab my container of onions. And I will freeze this flat. And then we'll vacuum seal it. Okay. I'm also going to put on here 1/2 cup. And that way, if I have a recipe that, say, calls for a full cup, then I can pull out 2 bags. When you're empty nesters, you learn to package things in small amounts. And then you just pull out extras if you need to. So I'm going to get all these packaged up, and then I'll show you what it looks like. I ended up running out of bags, so I need to make some more. This plugged in. To make a bag, all you do is hit seal. And once these lights shut off and then come back on, then your bag is ready. Or at least one side of the bag is ready. Okay, there we go. And then we pull this out and we cut it to our desired length, and it is ready to be filled. Put my onions in there, and it's ready. Okay, I'm going to do that 5 more times because I need 5 more bags. So I ended up with 7 half cup bags. The last one I did a full cup. And then I will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 onion slabs, or packages of onion slabs. Onion steaks. That sounds better than onion slab. Did I miss the light going off? I might have. Yep, I was too busy talking. Okay. So what is your favorite thing to buy when you go to the farmer's market? Mine, let's see. We have some Mennonite neighbors that set up at the farmer's market, and they make the most amazing coconut cream pie, and they will sell the whole pie at the market. And then sometimes they sell little individual pies, and that is probably my favorite thing to buy at the market. They are so good. Okay, I'm going to keep making bags, keep filling onion steaks into the bags, and get them in the freezer. Onions are in the freezer, and I have a timer set. Actually, it says 37 minutes because I have a pie baking in the oven. So when that timer goes off, I'm going to pull the onions out, and then we'll vacuum seal them. I don't want to leave them any longer than that because I don't want that onion scent to permeate everything else, like the ice cream. That would be terrible. That would make my husband very, very sad because he loves ice cream. So when it is time to pull those out and vacuum seal, I will bring you back. All right, I've got the bags of onions out of the freezer, and it is time to seal them up. So on my vacuum sealer, I have the option of choosing dry, moist, or pulse. So I'm going to choose moist because it's not frozen solid. They are still a little bit moist. And vacuum seal. Now the seal light is flashing, so we know it's doing heating that up and making the seal. And when all the lights go off and come back on, you know it's finished. And there we go. Okay, let's do one of the little ones. Now my vacuum seal, I'll pull this out and show you, has this little channel, kind of a drip tray. So if it does pull any moisture out, it goes straight into that little little tray, and it helps it just clean up easier. All right, and there is that one. So I am going to continue vacuum sealing these bags. Let me show you my pie I just took out of the oven. Yum! It is a peach pie. And my favorite part, cinnamon crust. Pie will be for a different video. So I'm going to keep vacuum sealing. Then I will get these back into the freezer to freeze the rest of the way. Because they're vacuum sealed, there really isn't any harm in the onion smell getting into anything else. However, the upright freezer that we have upstairs is very full, so I'm probably going to take these downstairs to the chest freezer. And I still have a few bags of onions in the upright from last year, so I need to use those up first. But anyway, that's what happens with the leftovers after the farmer's market. So if you have any questions, let me know. If you like my video, please consider subscribing to my channel. Help me grow my channel. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.